Good evening. How are you guys doing? I literally just woke up like 20 minutes ago. Can you tell? Look at my beautiful hair. Hi, beautiful hair. And you can see that you are still on the little sheet right here instead of on the thing. What happened was it poured rain all day today. And earlier in the day, I was going to go put the thing up on my car. And then I just kept on not wanting to go out once I got home in the rain and fix it. Pure laziness, I know. And then tonight, I was like, oh, well, I'll go do it before I start vlogging. And then I realized that I wanted to clean my windshield before I did it. So I didn't want to do all that because it is 4:27 a.m. and I've been asleep since like 10:30. So tomorrow I will have it up. And hopefully it will be a better vlogging experience. So anyway, what did you do today, Peter? What did I do today? I got this bottle of water earlier for my live stream. I did a live stream tonight. It was really fun. We read magazines. I'm trying to do that like every weekend, where I get on there and I like read magazines and do all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. I had a fun live stream tonight. I went like an hour and 10 minutes. I used to go really, really long. And this summer when it's like nice and I can go outside, I'm probably gonna do that again. Last year in the winter, I went down the basement, but I don't love going down there and sitting and doing live streams. So I've been trying not to this winter if I didn't have to. And Alex was upstairs watching TV on the computer, and I didn't want him to have to keep his headphones on for longer than an hour. So I ended the live stream after like an hour and 10 minutes, but it was a lot of fun. We had a really, really good time. People were hilarious in there tonight. And talked about J-Lo's engagement. So if you didn't know, J-Lo and A-Rod got engaged, which the Psychic Twins predicted in the video that I did with them, which I thought was kind of interesting that their names even came up when we did the video together, and they brought them up. So there's that. And then let's see, I got up today. What did I do today? Alex slept in forever today. Like, he like got up and he like gave PB his medicine and took the dogs out and stuff like that, and then he came back to bed. And then when I was getting up, he was like dead asleep, and I thought, you know, he never gets to sleep in, so I'm just gonna let him sleep. And then I went and I got a coffee and ran some errands, and I came back and he was still asleep. And I went upstairs and I was like, do you know it's like super late? I mean, it was late. And I go, do you know it's super late? He was like, I know. He goes, I'm just so exhausted, I don't know what it is. He goes, I think it's just I don't get that much sleep throughout the week. So I said, well, babe, I'm gonna let you sleep. I mean, you know, just rest. He slept most of the afternoon, which is interesting that we went to bed really early tonight. And he watched a couple TV shows, and that was kind of it. I went to, so one of the errands I ran earlier today was I went to Meijer and I got the magazines, and it poured down rain like all day today. And I really didn't enjoy being out because the traffic was horrible with the rain, and people were like driving like crazy. And now it's like super, super windy out tonight, but it's not, you can kind of hear it. Do you hear that wind? It's kind of scary, isn't it? But it stopped raining, and it's not clear out at all. It's cloudy, but it's not raining at all, which is nice. And then I came home, and then I filmed videos for my channels, all except for my BookTube channel. And then I was gonna go to, like, I had an idea for a video. I don't want to say it because I'm gonna probably do it for my BookTube video channel. But I did those videos, got those uploaded, and then I had to get the dogs treats. So I ran to Meijer again because I had forgotten to get them treats before, and they were out of treats. And now they're out of food, so we're gonna have to go again and get food tomorrow. And got them treats, and Alex was like, will you get me some candy? He likes this huge, it's like this, you can get these huge bags of like Sour Patch Kids for like $4.59. So I always pick those up for him. And Then he wanted Lifesaver gummies, but they didn't have a big bag. I just got him a smaller bag of those. And then he loves dry roasted peanuts. So I got him some dry roasted peanuts, and then I got the dog's treats. And then I came home and I gave him those snacks, and he came downstairs in his robe and he took them right upstairs, and then I did my live stream. And then after my live stream, I sat down and he was like, what are you gonna do now? And I said, I don't know. I said, to be really honest with you, I said, I feel like I've been going and I'm really tired. And he was like, all right. I was like, what are you gonna do? He was like, I'm finishing up the show. I can't remember what he was watching. I think Arrow, maybe. He's like, I'm gonna finish up the show. I forgot my hat. That's why my hair looks so pretty. He goes, I'm gonna finish up the show, then I'm gonna go to bed. And I go, this early on a Saturday night? He goes, I'm exhausted. He goes, I don't know what is wrong. I thought he was gonna do, so tonight he was gonna do something with his, well, anyway, so we both were asleep, like, by, he was finishing up his show, and then, I had set my alarm, and then all of a sudden, I noticed that he wasn't, there was no light in the room. I, opened my eyes, there was no light in the room, and I turned over, and I said, are you going to bed? And he goes, yeah, I'm tired. And I said, okay. And, so we both went to bed. We were both asleep by, 10:30. And then I slept until a little bit after, 4-ish. I'm still tired. I did say to him, though, we weren't going to go to brunch tomorrow. And I said, I think we're going to maybe need to go to brunch tomorrow. I didn't really eat much today at all, so I'm ready to go to brunch tomorrow and eat. And like I always say, this is not going to be a long vlog, but true story, this probably won't be a long vlog tonight. I don't know, whenever I say that, I'm like, what do people consider a long vlog or a short vlog? Is a short vlog 15 minutes? I mean, none of my vlogs are probably going to ever just be 15 minutes. True story. I mean, we're already halfway there, if that's the case. This road is so bad. They have patched up so many potholes in Indianapolis, but this road is not one of them that they have patched up, and they're horrible. And you can see, from years before when the potholes were bad and they patched them up. But anyway, so we'll probably go to brunch tomorrow, and then I'll make some videos, and then we're just going to hang out for the rest of the day and maybe watch some movies or something. He was going to go over to his friend's house tonight. They were going to watch a movie and wear onesies and stuff. But she ended up doing something else. And he was like, I don't feel like going anywhere. He was like, I feel like just hanging around the house all day. And I was like, all right. And then, if he had done that, I was going to call my sponsor and see if she wanted to go to a meeting tonight. But since he didn't want to go do that, I thought, well, I'll just hang out with him around the house tonight. So that's what we did. I kept on saying to him, I was like, are you bored? I feel bad that you're just he's like, I'm having so much fun just sitting at home with the dogs and you and watching TV. He was like, I am not bored at all. He was like, I'm really enjoying it. He was like, are you bored? I go, no, I'm not bored at all. This is what I do every night. I was like, but I just, because you go out a lot and stuff. And he was like, if I wanted to go out, I'd be out. He was like, but I wanted to stay at home tonight. So it was nice. It was kind of just a nice weekend, going over to his family's last night, and then, his brother had these New Balance shoes on last night that, I think they're baseball shoes, but I need to contact him tomorrow and find out what style they are, because I got online tonight, because I think I want to get them for Ultra, because they looked really comfortable. And those are the shoes that I can wear for Ultra. But I don't know which ones they are, so I'm going to have to find out. God, stuff is blowing like crazy. Signs and stuff. I have this really weird nightmare again. I've had this is and I talked about the other one I think on here, but this is the second nightmare in a row. Yeah, I talked about it on here. Second nightmare, well, not in a row, but in a week that I've had about my aunt's house. The house that she lived in when I was growing up in, my aunt and uncle. And, she was in this one. But it was her, but it wasn't her. It was really weird. So, Alex and I were at the house, and then there were these two girls that were staying there. And Alex and I, so the house that my aunt and uncle lived in when I grew up, it's all one story. And so when you go in, it has like this circular drive. It's actually, I should show it to you. It'd be really easy because it's like right by where I live. So my aunt and uncle, the reason my mom ended up getting the condo that I live in now is because it's literally like 2 blocks from where my aunt and uncle used to live, and it was real close. So, and she wanted to be close to them. So the condo, or the house that my aunt and uncle lived in, like it's like a roundabout driveway, and it used to have a tree in the middle, but they took the tree down, so now it's just like you go up, it's like this big driveway, and you like go in, and like there's a window to the right in front, and that was Caroline's bedroom window, and then there was like a double door with like this little kind of like patio thing, not patio, but it's like, you know, I don't know what you would call it. It's water. It's like literally, do you hear this? Flooding. And then there's the dining room window. So it's like double doors that open. And then it's like a dining room window. And then to the left was like a 2-car garage. So when you walked in the door, there was like an entryway. And then it stepped down into this like huge living room. And it had like a sitting area to the right. And then it had a sitting area to the left. And then there were these like glass doors that like went out to the patio. And then there was a dining room around the corner, and then the kitchen. And when I was growing up, the kitchen and then there was another like family room. And the kitchen and the family room were split. But I can't remember how old I was. I was probably like 8th grade, 9th grade. Yeah, probably 8th or 9th grade. They had the wall between the kitchen and the family room taken down. So like the family room and the kitchen just was one huge room. And that's where like they had a fireplace and stuff. And then if you went the other direction, it was like bathroom, and then Caroline's bedroom, and then she had this huge walk-in closet, and then there was like this little hallway that went down into my aunt and uncle's bedroom. Oh, and then off the kitchen there was also a basement that went down the stairs. There was like a full basement. And then the garages were off the kitchen. And there's a reason why I'm telling you all this. I don't know. I'm just kind of processing the nightmare. It really kind of scared me a little bit. It just was weird. I don't know. And you go down this little hallway, and then it was like there was like this office kind of closet thing that my uncle used to have his like office in, and then there was like my aunt and uncle's bedroom, and then there was like a walk-in closet and like a bathroom. But so the house was like this, and like in the middle was like this, in the back was this, so like the bedroom went this way, and then like the living room, the kitchen went this way, and then the middle was like the living room. And so it like went out, and then in the middle of all of that, they all had, there was like sliding glass doors on each area, and then in the middle was like this what do you call it, patio, and they had like, you know, wrought iron furniture out there and stuff. It was really nice. I have seen so many hawks lately. This is so weird. I have seen so many hawks, and they're huge. And did you guys know that a hawk is the sign, supposedly the sign, like, of the lifting of the veil between the living and the dead? Did you guys know that? So anyway, and then they have this huge backyard that could have had like a pool and stuff, and it didn't. But, and then the yard went all the way in the back, and then it went around each side. And they had this huge, huge, huge fence, this like wooden fence that was probably 10 feet tall, around the yard. So anyway, I had this like nightmare, and it was really weird. And I was like in the house, and like Alex was coming there to pick me up, but like we were like spies or something, and somebody was like trying to get us, and it was like in the middle of the night, and there were like these metal blinds over Caroline's bedroom window, which she never had metal blinds like that. The window was always just open, and she had like a day bed in front of it. She had like her bed, and then she had like which she always had like a queen or a king size bed, I can't remember. And then she had like a day bed in front of that window, because I can remember when I was a little kid, I would sleep there on that day bed. And so we were like looking out the window, and like Alex was gone, and he was like supposed to be coming back, and I was talking to this woman that was like the spy, like in charge of me, and she was like, we could see like our cars parked in the driveway, but like we could see people like we would look and like somebody would catch us out of the corner of our eye, like that they were like running past our cars, and we had to get to our cars to leave. It was at night, and I was like, I don't think we can get out there. And she was like, well, then we're gonna have to just sleep it off. And we like slept it off, and she's like, but the other people will be here. And so we were like in the dark in this house, and there was like no lights on, and we were like running around looking through all the windows. And what was really scary about this house when I was growing up was that during the day it wasn't scary really, but although this nightmare took place kind of during the day, but at like night, like people, like I can remember being scared of this. Like you could have been standing in front of the window and whoever was outside could totally see it and see you. I mean, there were a lot of windows in this house. And so I can remember as a kid, like always being scared of that. And especially in my aunt and uncle's like bedroom, because they had like this like door that went right out, and I always thought that, and they had like no blinds or anything, and I always thought it was so weird that like you could be sleeping and somebody could just be standing there looking in at you. So anyway, we were like running through this house, and we were like, it was we had it pitch black so we could see outside and we could see people, and like we were catching glimpses of like people running around outside. And so then we ended up like cowering down behind like this bed, and then like the next thing I knew, it was like daytime, and my aunt was like in the kitchen like making coffee or something, but like I knew people were coming like to get us, and I was like, we got to get out of this house. And like Alex was there, but like he was leaving, and he was like, I'm gonna go ahead to like secure his place, and he just like left at the beginning of like that part of the nightmare. And then it was my aunt, and then we had these like, there were two girls there, and they were like in their early 20s, and they were like living there, I don't know why, and one of them was living on the day bed, and I was like hurrying her up to get packed to get her out of the house. We were trying to get them all out of the house, and then my aunt and I were gonna get out of the house, and like right as the last girl had just left or something, there was like this loud knocking at the door, and I was like, I woke up. I know you guys were like, we could care less. You guys, this camera is so weird. I'm like starting to get kind of like seriously spooked out. I don't know what is going on, but like the camera fell, and then like when I was like looking at it, it was just like a black screen. Like I kept on turning it off and turning it on, and it was just like a black screen, like when I looked at it. And then when I hit record, it's like the light came on. It's so weird. It's never done that before. So weird. Maybe I'm still in the nightmare. I don't know. But in my nightmare, that was so weird. So anyway, in my nightmare, there was like this loud knocking at the door. And like I woke up, and it was so weird because like I woke up, and when I woke up, like the dogs were again sitting up straight. They weren't looking at me like I had done anything in my sleep. They were looking at the door. It was weird. Like they had just like been woken up by like a knocking on the door. Well, then I was freaked and didn't want to like go down and be like, oh, I'm awake now, and go downstairs and go out to vlog. I was like, ooh, like I think I'll lay here for a little bit longer. So I did, and then I fell asleep again. And then when I woke up, they were wanting to go out, so and I wasn't so scared the second time. Everything about this is like spooky, like telling the story, and then the camera is acting all weird tonight. I don't know why. That was so weird. It was like what you're seeing right now, it was none of this. It was just like black screen. And when I hit record, it all of a sudden, I wish I could even show you what it was like, but when I hit record, it like you could see me, but before that you couldn't see me. Isn't that weird? It's all so weird. Anyway. I wonder why I've been having nightmares again. Like, I go long periods without having any nightmares whatsoever. And then, I seem to have them a lot. But I don't feel, this smelled like chlorine. I don't feel stressed. I don't really have anything that I'm stressing out over in my life. I I think it's weird that I keep on having nightmares, like, that have to do with my aunt and uncle's house. Which for me, like, when I was growing up, was always such a safe place. You know, like, I mean, we spent... Do you guys hear this wind? Listen. It's really windy. Which, when I was a kid, like, we spent so many weekends there. I mean, almost every weekend for a long time, we would go over there. My mom would have me pack a little bag, and then we would go over there, and we would just spend the whole weekend there. My aunt and uncle always had a lot of people, like, coming and going at their house, like, when I was growing up, and, yeah, it's weird. But I always felt so completely safe there. And, not that I didn't feel safe at my house growing up, but I think, you know, because of, like, my mom's drinking and stuff, like, I've talked about this on here, but I used to have this, ongoing, like, kind of nightmare, about my mom's house when I was growing up, and, like, trying to get her out of the house, and she couldn't get out of the house, and I was always, like, panicked that she wasn't going to get out of the house, and, you know, like, I could see, like, across the street, well, what would happen was, if you don't know this story, I have told this story on here a lot, but I used to have this reoccurring nightmare, and my mom would be, like, real zombified in the nightmare, which is interesting, because that's kind of how she was when she was, like, really heavy drinking, like, she'd be kind of just, like, shuffling around and stuff. So in the nightmare, I would know that somebody was coming to get us, and I would try to get out of the house. And it was always, like, every nightmare was like I mean, it wasn't like I had it every night. It wasn't anything like that. But I had it often, and I had it for years on end. Even, like, when I was older, I would have, like, when I was in, like, high school, I would have it. But I would still, in the nightmare, be a little kid. And so I would have these nightmares where, like, I was trying to get her out of the house. And in one nightmare, you know, like, I would get her to it was always like I was trying to get her to the garage and get her into the car to get her out of the house. And, like, in another nightmare, I would, like, get her into the car. And, you know, in another nightmare, I would get her to, like, the car, and I would be, like, driving down the street, but, like, I was a little kid and I had no idea what I was doing. And she would be, like, fighting me to, like, get back to the house. I had this nightmare over and over and over again. But always in the nightmare, what would happen would be that I would eventually I knew that somebody was coming to, like, kill us. And I would get out of the house, and I would go across the street. My mom's friend lived across the street. My mom's a really good friend. And her husband and their 2 kids, or her 2 kids. And so I would go across the street, and then I would, like, I could see the house across the street from, like, we would be, like in the window, like, ducking down watching, and I could see the house, and, like, the drapes would be, like, pulled in the living room, which is weird, because the drapes were never pulled in the living room, and I could see, like, shadow figures behind the drapes, and it would be, like, this guy, like, coming at my mom with a knife. And I can remember always being, like, terrified in my nightmare, and I would, like, wake up, like, that was, like, night terrors for me, you know? My mom got sober. I never had that nightmare again. Is that not so weird? And I really do believe, you know, that a lot of that was being afraid for my mom, you know, like, her drinking and things like that. I have to believe it had something to do with that, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have the nightmare after that. I mean, I have some wacky nightmares that have nothing to do with anything, but you know, it's weird. I was talking about grief today in my Peterisms video, and my friend that she watches my vlogs every night. Hey, friend. You've got a friend. So anyway, so she had texted me and she had asked me like to do a video like for her cousin, because she, like, my friend watches my Peterisms videos like every morning, and she was like, I watch your vlogs when I go to bed, and I watch, and I am so thankful, because let me just tell you, she may be like one of my only friends that does this. None of my other friends watch my videos. They're like, no, we get enough of you. And they're like, we don't need to hear you do all that. So anyway, but like Tanya, I'm always like, did you watch this video? She's like, no. My husband, he doesn't watch my videos. Although he was watching a video the other day. Oh, he watched the interviews that I did in LA, because he was real excited for me about that. So anyway, but I was talking to her on the phone, and her dad had passed away almost exactly a year ago. And then she was talking about her cousins, and she knows my cousin Caroline really well. They went to high school together. And so I was talking about her a little bit, and then I got off the phone and I started thinking a lot about, like, I don't, you know, like with grieving today, like, yeah, I miss my mom and I grieve my mom, but really, like, more like what is current to me is like my aunt and uncle. And we were talking about them. We were talking about, like, Caroline, you know, losing 2 parents like within a year and things like that. And you know, I think, like, when I grieve today about, like, a lost era, I think more about my aunt and uncle than I do about my mom. Like, it's been a long time since my mom has been gone. So I got off the phone with her, and I was like, and this is probably why I had the nightmare, I was really thinking a lot about my aunt and uncle, you know? And, I don't know. And then I made the video called Stuck in Grief. And I also had read a comment on my vlog that somebody remembered the Q&A that Alex and I had done, and where he got real emotional in talking about my aunt because they were super close. I don't know, my aunt's just been on my mind a lot lately. That Peterisms video for me today was really cathartic. Like, it was really good for me to do that video and talk about grief and, you know, talk about, like, I think the selfishness of grief, which we don't talk a lot about, you know, about that to some degree, and I believe this, but it took me years to figure this out, and I don't think it's an emotion or a feeling that people should have right out of the gate, like with grieving. But, you know, after a couple years, it was like I realized how selfish the grieving was, because maybe that's the wrong way to say it. Not that the grieving was selfish, but that the desire for, like, my aunt was so sick at the end. I mean, she was living on an oxygen tank, you know, and she was ready to go. She didn't want to be here anymore, you know. She just was not enjoying her life. And for me to just continue to be focused on wishing she was here, wishing she was here, wishing she was here. And that can, because if I could have her here, or my mom or my uncle in great condition, well, sure, that would be a different story, right? But I think sometimes it's about, you know, letting them go too. And I don't know, it's a weird concept for me. I can remember when, like, Caroline and I talked about, so, like, she and her mom had, like, a last conversation, too, and she was like, are you scared to go? And Caroline said to my aunt was like, no, I'm not scared to go. And she was like, you know, I'll see Grandma on the other side, and, you know, and Peter's mom, and Jesus, she said Jesus, and, you know, and I think it's interesting when you get to the point, like, I know that there are a lot of people, there's probably a lot of you out there that aren't afraid to die. I used to have this overwhelming amount of fear about it, where I would, like, lay in bed at night, and, you know, it's interesting the fact that I, like, risked death so much with my behaviors of drinking and drugging, but that I was so afraid to die too. I used to lay in bed and I would think about, like, well, what if this is it forever and ever? Like, it's just absolute blackness after this, you know? Because I have, you know, strong spiritual beliefs, but you still don't know. It's not like there's any like facts of what really happens, you know, obviously afterwards. And I wouldn't say I have blind faith. I would say I have hopeful faith that there is something that happens afterwards, and I don't know that, you know, is, I don't know. Like, I like to believe that there is. And, but like, I feel like I know a lot of people that are just so unafraid to die. They're just like, well, it is what it is. I'm like, I don't know. It's scary to me. Because we don't know anything about it. And I think for a long time, like, I got kind of really obsessed with reading about, like, near-death experiences. I took a class in college called Death and Dying. I think most colleges have a class like it. It's a sociology class, and, you know, you read about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and the process of, you know, dying and things like that and grieving. But I remember, like, the Mary J. Eddy's or whatever her name is, and she was like the very first person, I believe she was like one of the very first people that ever wrote about the near-death experiences. Like, back in the day, like, we, you know, now there's all of these books out about near-death experiences, but we didn't have those back in the day, you know? There were only like one or two. And I can remember reading that book and like wanting to believe but being so skeptical at the same time. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because my dad, who is a person of strong faith, but he like my mother also, you know, he grew up Lutheran, but he has, and I would say is a man of strong faith, but he also has a lot of like Eastern religious spiritual beliefs. And I remember years and years ago when I was like younger, like probably junior high school, talking about it, and to him about like near-death experiences and like seeing the light and things like that. And I remember him saying to me, well, we know what that is. We, as, you know, physicians and surgeons, we know that that's like neurons in the brain going off that they're mistaking for, you know. And I'm like, really? And he was like, well, yeah, we know that. Like, neurologists have proven that. I'm like, oh, and I didn't know that. But then later, I can remember talking to my dad, like in my early 20s, and my dad said, and talking to my dad about whether or not there was such a thing as soul, like if people have souls. And he said that he was convinced that people had souls because there were two moments that in his being a doctor that he had witnessed that were unlike any other. And it was when you were present with somebody when a child was born and when you were with somebody when they passed. And he said in both of them, the idea of life, like you could see something come, like with a birth, and you could see something go with a passing. You know, like it wasn't just physical, it was much more than that. And, you know, and he said they were probably two of the most incredible moments that he had ever witnessed as a doctor, you know, being able to be present for those moments. And so he was like, I absolutely 100% believe in soul, which those are kind of contradictory statements to some degree, you know, but like maybe not. Maybe what he's just saying is the light that we think we see, you know, that's not necessarily what people say it is, but sure, there's still something there, you know. It's interesting. You know, I think for me, like I went to the psychic here in town, and I think part of the reason why, you know, I chase psychics a little bit is because I want some, you know, burning bush of like validity that there is something on the other side. In all honesty, I think. And, you know, and I think getting a reading where like my mother would come through, or my aunt or uncle, and they would say something that beyond a shadow of a doubt I would know is them, like beyond a shadow of a doubt. something that I would know, you know what I mean, was like, this is my mother. Like, there's nobody else that would have known this. But I haven't really had that from anybody, you know. This guy that I went to in town here, he was pretty phenomenal. A lot of the things that the psychic twin said off camera were pretty phenomenal, honestly. There were things they said on camera, but it was all pretty, you know, ambiguous on camera. But off camera, they said some things to me that I was kind of like a little shaken about. But I'm just like, I just want the person that like says something beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? That I would walk away from that situation, no skepticism, no question whatsoever, just absolutely 100% sure that that came from a, you know what I mean? And I can't say I've ever had that experience yet. I've had some interesting experiences. You know, I've had some really, really interesting experiences, like with them and like with this Dave guy here in town, but where I was like, kind of like, wow, like that was a moment, you know what I mean? But nothing where I just was like blown away. Like, absolutely, 100%, this is what it is. And it's kind of sad too, you know, because it's like, I keep chasing that because I'd like to have that, but I don't seek it out as much as I used to, you know, like, I used to always constantly talk to people around here about like psychics and mediums and say, oh, do you go to anybody? Like, who would you recommend? Or, you know, whatever. What time am I on up there? Oh my God. What, you know, like, who do you recommend? Who's somebody that you really like? Blah, 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 whatever. And I don't really do that as much, you know, anymore. Like, I can't remember the last time that that came up in just passing conversation. And I have to say, like, I don't really know, honestly, like, what it would take for me to just be floored. I like my water a little cold, and this water's a little warm. I don't like it a little cold. I like my water very cold, and this water is a little warm because it's been sitting in the house. I like took it in there when I was doing my live stream. It was interesting when I was doing my Peterisms video. I wanted to read this to you guys, so I'm gonna, when I get up here to the place where I turn around, I'm gonna read it to you, but because I wrote it down exactly how she said it. So I love the Oprah aha moments. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, right? But the reason that I love them is because if you watch them, okay, or her, you know, Soulful Sundays or whatever they're called. I mean, Oprah has all of these like 3 to 5 minute videos, 2 to 5 minute videos, right? That if you really watch them, and you don't have to love Oprah. It's not about Oprah, okay? It's about like the guests that she has on there and the people that she's talking to. And I will say this about Oprah, she's very open to the lesson, you know? So it's the lesson that comes through these things. And when you sit there and you watch them, and I watch a lot of them, and a lot of them are repeats because I've watched them before, and a lot of them I need them to be repeated, you know? But today I was looking up this one for my friend, and well, I had sent it to her, and then I was looking it up to put on the bottom of the video because I linked it underneath the Peterisms video. But it was the one where the woman's daughter had died, and it had been like 10 years or something, and maybe longer. I can't remember. I just watched it today. I can't believe I can't remember. But anyway, and Dr. Phil says to her, she feels like it's a betrayal that she, you know, like, isn't remembering her daughter fully, and so, you know, she's afraid that if she, like, she's not changed her room or anything, and she's like, you know, says something about that, and then he goes, do you think it's possible that the real betrayal is that you're focusing on the one day that she passed instead of the 18 years, instead of celebrating the 18 years that she was alive? And the look on her face, I've talked about this on here before, but she's like, I never thought of it that way. I really never thought of it that way. And Oprah's talking about this, and it's such a powerful moment. But I had not seen this clip before today, where she had her back on and had her talk about it for a couple minutes, and it was really good. I linked it underneath the Peterisms video from today if you want to see it. But like on the, the side panel on YouTube, this is how I watch them all. And I really try to stay open to the lesson, because I think so many lessons are fantastic on there. But there was this one, and it was called something like Oprah's most profound moment, or Oprah something. It's like this moment that like, it was the lesson that changed her life fully, and it was about forgiveness. And it's an interesting concept. Like I was talking on here last night about like inventory and doing inventory and, making changes in your life and looking at people, and what's your part in things and whatever. And, I think we live a lot of our lives like either getting along with people or having strife in our lives with people. And then we do have resentment. We do have grudges. And, one of the things I've known for a long time, because I am a person that believes in working towards forgiveness in my heart, because I don't want to hold on to anger, resentment, and rage and grudge and things like that, because I don't benefit from that, right? So I have to get to a point of forgiveness. But forgiveness really is not for the other person. Like if I forgive somebody, it's not for them. Forgiveness is really for me. It's really freedom. Hold on, it's gonna stop. You guys, it's so weird. It went back to like that dark thing again, and now it looks kind of dark. I don't know if you can see me or not. But forgiveness is really for you. It's not for the other person, And I think that's what we misunderstand a lot. And it took me a long time to understand that too. I can remember saying, people will be like, well, what would it be like for you to get to a point of forgiveness? This is like years ago, like 15, 20 years ago, in early sobriety. And like my sponsor would say like, well, what would it be like for you to get to a point of forgiveness? Oh, no. I'm never going to forgive that person. And they're like, well, if you don't, then you're a prisoner to your own emotions. Like, if you're not willing to forgive that person, then you're bound to them forever by the way that they acted, And the thing is like, when we're bitter and we're angry and we're revengeful and we're resentful and we're constantly wanting to, tell on somebody and talk about them or whatever, we really have become like a prisoner. Like the saying of, in recovery that like, do people rent space in your head for free? Like, I don't want to be that person today. Things are going to happen. I have to let them go. And Oprah was talking about what this guy said in this video, and I wrote it down in my phone because I wanted to forever remember it because it's so fantastic. And the definition of forgiveness, and this is so incredible. And she said, and what he says, and then she translates it as, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. Okay, so it's giving up the idea that the past should have been, we play in our head like, well, what if this had happened, or what if that had never happened, or what if this didn't happen, right? The reason I'm talking about this on here, and I saved this actually for tonight, and I'll probably do a Peterisms video about it, is because I just think this is so, so, so important. It's like, this is so important for my life to remember, and I've really worked hard at living this way, but it's hard and I forget this. So forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. It means accepting that it has happened to you, not accepting that what happened was okay. Accepting that it has happened, and now what do you do about it? So the past does not hold you hostage. So forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And I think like, it's, I just like sat there and I watched it, and I have seen this clip. It's not my first time. It's not my second time. It's not my fifth time. I've seen this clip many times. And, that's the whole idea of that, lessons come to, lessons are repeated until they are learned. And, lessons come to us first as a feather, and then as a whisper, and, then as a hill and a mountain and a brick. They come to us slowly over time. And that idea of giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. Like, that's a hard thing. Oh, please don't. Oh, I caught it. I caught her. But that's like a hard thing, right? Like, looking at stuff that happened in our past and being like, because I think we do play into that, or at least I have in the past, like, well, if this hadn't happened, or if that hadn't happened, or if this had been different, or, whatever. And it's not looking at those things and saying, accepting, you know, and I think like this is the part where I get confused sometimes, is it's not about accepting that it happened and that it was okay. It's not saying I'm okay with what happened, or I'm okay with what happened to me, or how it went down, or it's not about that. It's just accepting that it happened and that you can't change it. And that it is what it is. You know, like my old sponsor used to say to me all the time, you know, like, you want to cry over spilt milk. Well, you can't do anything about the spilt milk. What are you going to do now? You know, milk spills all the time. And that's it, you know, right there. Like, I mean, he was telling me that 15 years ago or longer, you know, that it's accepting that what happened, it happened. And I was going to say the way it was supposed to. Maybe it wasn't even, it happened the way it was supposed to. Maybe it just happened. You know, and it wasn't okay that it happened. It doesn't mean accepting that what happened to you was right or appropriate or nice or fair, because fair is a huge word, or just. It's just accepting that it happened and stopping the tape in your head from, well, what if it hadn't, or what if this, or what if things had been different? Because they can't be any different. The past is the past. It is what it is. Now what are you going to do about it? And that was where, for me, you know, in a specific example, like 6 months ago, where I was like, okay, so this is what's happened. So what's my choice today? My choice is, I'm going to take what's happened and I'm going to try to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be. I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this into an opportunity for growth, you know, and learn from it. And I think in any situation, like when I look at like exes of mine that I've broken up with and stuff, you know, and people that I've had, like, you know, in the past, like, that I've had, like, disagreements with and strife. Like, I mean, I'm talking, like, you know, God, in my 20s and stuff, you know, that I don't really today, honestly, I don't have a lot of lingering resentment. I just don't. You know, resentment, anger, and peace cannot all live in the same space. They just can't. They don't do real well in the same house together. And if you watch my videos regularly enough, especially my Peterson's channel, you know that having peace of mind and serenity is vital to my life today. It's not a luxury, it's food. I have to have peace of mind and serenity. Well, if I'm gonna have peace of mind and serenity, I can't have resentment and anger in the same, I just can't. Which means I have to work on forgiveness. And if I can get to a point where I can look at a situation and I can say, you know, it happened. I can't change it now. But the part two of that is, and I think this is what's been valuable for me, is if I can get to a point where I learn something by what I've gone through, or I'm a better person on the tail end of it, or I've grown from it, or I've gained. It's easier to forgive in that way, you know? Because then you can't hold on to any anger or resentment at a person or a situation that has taught you maybe one of the greatest lessons you've ever learned, you know? How can you be angry at a situation that, coming out on the other end of it, you're serene and peaceful on a daily basis as a result of what you had to go through to get there? Or, you know, like, I mean, to some degree it's crazy, but you're almost thankful. And, you know, and then when you're thankful and you have forgiveness in your heart and love in your heart, I think it's freeing, you know? It really, really is. It's freeing and it's liberating, and it's not easy, you know? It doesn't happen overnight, but I saw that today and I was like, I don't know, maybe it was I needed to see it today because I hadn't seen it in a while as a reminder of maybe like how far I've come for myself. Like, you know, sometimes I beat myself up that I am not getting the lessons, you know, like fast enough. Like Tanya always says that to me. And she's like, Peter, she goes, you are one of the most introspective people I know that works the hardest on yourself. You're always doing inventory on yourself. And she was like, you know, it's just, sometimes you just got to stop beating yourself up so bad, you know? You're not a perfect person. And I don't ever think that I'll be a perfect person. I don't claim to ever be that, you know? But sometimes I do get frustrated that I think I have the lesson and then I go, oh, I don't have the lesson. You know what I mean? You guys, there's some of you out there that know what I mean. It's like, you got the lesson, I guess I don't have it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I guess, you know, got to go back to the classroom and study a little bit harder. And, you know, the thing is there's like, there's the studying of the lesson every day, and then there's the test. You know what I mean? And the test is like when something comes along and you have to practice forgiveness and you have to hold tight to the peace of mind and the serenity, you know? And that's why I cling so closely today to prayer and meditation and, you know, my affirmations and my gratitude list, because those to me are like, they're oxygen to my getting better, you know? So it was great that I saw that. So if you guys haven't seen those, I would highly suggest that you go check those out. There's so many of them, you know, and the TED Talks too. Like, I've learned so much from the TED Talks. And that's how I found out about Kyle Krieger, the YouTuber, because I saw his TED Talks on sobriety, and it was fantastic. And even though our stories are pretty different, I was super impressed with his TED Talks about it. And I would love to meet him. Like, he's somebody I would love to meet. And, like, Alex adores him. Like, Alex is probably, that's probably the only, like, well, Alex actually, this is funny. Alex watches Tyler Oakley. He really likes Tyler Oakley. And I like Tyler Oakley, too. I still watch his videos from time to time. But Alex likes Tyler Oakley, and he likes Kyle Krieger. He really likes Kyle Krieger. He, like, bawled when, if you guys don't know who Kyle Krieger is, he's a hairstylist, and he has a YouTube channel. And, but he's more than just a YouTuber. Like, he does a lot of things. And he's just a really neat guy. And he did this video about his... Do you guys hear all this flooding? Is unreal. He did this video about his dog passing away. And, like, Alex was just, like, sobbing and in tears watching this video. But he seems like a really nice guy. He's very muscular, and he's always like hiking on mountains and, you know, out in the desert. I'm sure we would have so much in common. Hey, do you want to sit around and read some magazines? But I don't know, maybe we would, you know, because of the recovery stuff. I don't know. I don't really know tons about him. I've watched some of his videos. I think the last video I watched of his was months ago, and he did something about, all he does is wear like black and white, or so he was changing up his outfits or something. I love when people can do videos like that and they get like, you know, 60,000 views on it. Do you think if I did a video called like, I'm changing up my closet, or do you think I would get 60,000? I would be lucky if I got 600 views on a video like that. It was interesting because somebody the other day, this guy that watches my videos, he messaged me on Instagram and he was like, I'm so happy for you that things are like going well. And he's been real supportive. He's a really nice guy. And he was like, I'm really happy that things are going well for you, blah, blah, blah. And I said, thanks. And I'm excited about some of these interviews. I got some other exciting interviews coming up. And he was like, well, that's really cool. He was like, but you know, and I thought this was so nice that he said this, because I think maybe sometimes I don't even believe this. And he was like, you know, it really doesn't have anything to do with what you're talking about. It has to do with your personality. And I think the majority of people that watch you would watch you no matter what you were doing. And I was like, do you think that's true? Like, I kind of needed to hear that, because the reality is, like, let's just be for real. If I do a Q&A, like, unless I title it some super clickbaity title, I don't really get, like, I mean, I don't do bad, but, like, it's not like And I don't listen, and I'm not all about the views and the subs, obviously, okay? But I have said from the very beginning of YouTube, why are we making videos if we don't want anybody to watch them? So when people get on video and they're like, I don't care if anybody watches my videos, that is crap, okay? That is absolutely, who are you making the videos for? You want people to watch them, you want people to engage. I mean, any kind of like, you know, art form or creativity that you do, no matter, I mean, if you write a book, you want people to read it. If you write an article, you want people to read it, you know? So, and I don't think that's necessarily true with everything, like, with like, you know, maybe doing a painting or things like that. But when you're doing like a visual kind of thing, or like a video where you're I mean, like, if not one person watches vlog, like, who am I talking to? But that being said, the second part of that I've learned is that it's like super, I don't know, like I'm contradicting myself right now, but it is really cathartic for me, you know? It is super cathartic for me. But in all honesty, like, I don't know that, like, as much as it's cathartic for me, I probably at some point wouldn't vlog like every day, you know what I mean? But it means a lot to me that people watch my videos, my vlogs. It means a lot to me when my friend says to me, I go to bed every night listening to your vlog. Like, that means a lot to me. You know, that means a lot to me when you guys are like, my kids know your intro, or, you know, like, I watch your vlogs when I'm getting ready, or I listen to your vlogs while I'm driving to work. Like, you guys have no idea what that means to me. I just feel like like, you have allowed me into your lives, and I love that, you know? But I'm sure some people would watch if I did, like, just, because I've, like, on my Peter Monn channel, I've wanted to kind of start just doing some just, like, random, you know, videos that I think are fun to do, but I love doing the review channel. Today on the review channel, and it was kind of just, like, totally impromptu. Like, the last two review videos I've done have been really impromptu. You guys, I am so confused by this camera. It literally just shut off. And then when I turned it back on, it was like black again. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm gonna have to take it into Best Buy and see if they can look at it. I know that so many people are convinced that it like rolls on the floor and all that kind of stuff, so people are like, well, that's what it is. But this is like a really durable Canon camera, and like I've like shaken it a little bit, like not hard, but like lightly, and there's like nothing loose. Like, it's solid in there, and I really don't believe there's anything wrong with it. But anyway, it just like shut off by itself. I don't know what happened. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I did the review video of the Cloud Macchiato or whatever. I did that today. I love that review channel. It's so much fun to do. But like my last two videos, like that's what I was saying, have been like totally impromptu. Like the donut video at Hardee's, like I was just literally like driving by Hardee's after I finished my vlog that morning. I was like, oh, I've been wanting to do those donuts. Like I wanted to review those. Because a lot of the reviews that I do, you know, I take from like recommendations that people will be like, oh, will you do the donuts, or will you do the Cloud Macchiato? And I'm like, and you know, honestly, people think that I just like use the reviews as an excuse to like eat junk food. I don't need an excuse to eat junk food. If I want to eat junk food, I'm gonna eat junk food. That's just the end of the story right there, okay? And I don't even really like eat the whole thing. Like the Cloud Macchiatos, I drank what I drank and then I threw them away, and that I showed that in the video. And with like the donuts, like I didn't even finish them. They weren't good. I didn't like them. So I don't even usually finish the food that I'm reviewing for the videos. So it's kind of funny to me when people say that, like, oh, you're just using this as an excuse to eat junk food. Do you think I need an excuse? I don't think that I hide the fact that I eat junk food. If I wanted to eat junk food, I would just eat junk food. I don't need to do a review about it. But anyway, so I did the review today. And I did it because somebody had recommended it in my live stream, and then I read the article about Ariana Grande, and it was interesting because yesterday, like all of the articles about it were just talking about the drink and how the drink was out, and it was Ariana Grande's like drink that she was endorsing. But today when I looked, because I was like looking it up again because I wanted to get like a screenshot of like for my thumbnail and stuff. And so I was like looking at it before because I wanted to see what people were saying about it. It was like all this drama And the articles were actually from a couple days ago. I don't know why they didn't pop up yesterday. But it was all this drama about Ariana Grande and how she was vegan, and there's egg whites in this drink. There are egg whites in that drink. You guys, it is not good. My stomach, I actually was almost gonna because I clipped off at the end, I ended it, and then I added if you haven't seen it yet, you have to go see the very, very ending of it, because it's like this funny little clip. But I was actually gonna add on another clip, because I had driven and gotten some stuff done, and you guys, my stomach hurt so bad. My stomach hurt so bad from that drink. I'm telling you, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the egg whites. I don't know if it was the mix of all of it. I don't know what it was, but that was not a good drink. There was nothing good about it for me, and it wasn't good. It really made me sick to my stomach. And so, I was very happy to be done with that drink. What was I gonna say about that, though? I don't know. So anyway, yeah. But I did that video today, and I love doing those videos. And I actually have another kind of coffee drink review that I want to do. And this is the thing, is that the food ones are super easy to do, okay? And somebody recommended to me tonight to do the vanilla orange crush. That's a really easy video to do, you know what I mean? I could literally go into the gas station right now, get a vanilla orange crush, drink it, and tell you what I think of it. It's easy. And there's these coffee drinks that I want to try that you get at a gas station. That's easy. I mean, it takes literally less than 10 minutes to film that video. And I love doing them, and it's so fun, because then I get to try things that I wouldn't normally try, you know, and just give my completely honest review of what I think. So it's not like I'm hurting anybody's feelings. And that's the other thing too, is it's with the drama channel, it's they're people that I'm talking about, or brands, you know. Well, I mean, people's brands, so to speak, collaborations and things like that. But these are I mean, you think M&M's is calling me up, being real upset that I said something about their M&M's. They don't care, you know what I mean? They just don't. It's not I'm gonna really affect their brand on that level. And it's fun, and there's some things I love and there's some things I don't love. I want to do another Cheesecake Factory one, because that was really fun. I was actually going to review all of the cheesecakes over time, but I've been you know, I mean, that's where I am trying to eat a little bit healthier. I will tell you this, true story, and this is I'm not going to do the review of this because I've eaten it so many times, but the Impossible Burger from Cheesecake Factory is hands down the best veggie burger I have ever had in my entire life. And I think it's a brand. I think it's you can go and buy it places, but I cannot find this Impossible Burger anywhere. I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So if you guys know where you can buy the Impossible Burger, I know there's quite a few of you out there that are vegan and vegetarian. Can you let me know? I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen today. Hold on, so it doesn't... I filled my gas tank today. $57 it cost me to fill my gas tank. And it was $2.55. And I knew it. I was as soon as I fill my tank, the gas price is going to go down. And over there, it's $2.20. Can you believe that? Hell's bells. Anyway. If you know where to get that Impossible Burger, let me know. That Impossible Burger is the answer. It is so, so, so good. See, this is why my vlogs end up going long, you guys, because I just start talking to you and then I have so much fun. And then before I know it, I put it together when I get home. And it's I have no idea how long this vlog is. I started vlogging, I don't know, 4 something, and it's... I mean, I've probably almost been vlogging for... I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour maybe now? I have no idea. I really don't. I don't remember what time I started. But I do know that I was listening to, are you ready for this? I was listening to Body Heat soundtrack, main title by John Barry. Did you guys ever see the movie Body Heat? Oh my God, I love that movie so much. That movie is one of the sexiest movies in the entire world, but listen to the soundtrack just for 2 seconds so I don't get demonetized. Love it. Love, love, love that soundtrack. It's the John Barry soundtrack, and the whole soundtrack is good, you guys. I used to just play it when I would be cleaning the house or working at, you know, doing stuff at home and stuff like that. It's fantastic. So you should definitely check it out. this retirement home right here, Tanya and I have a friend of ours that lives in here that we know from recovery. And Tanya took the dogs, like from the kennel. Like the girls that work there, like they took their dogs over there because you can like have dogs there or something. I don't know how it would. Anyway, they did like this dog day. They started this dog thing. And Tanya was like, and they're like, oh no, he doesn't live here. We don't know who that person is or something. And Tanya was like, what do you think happened to him? I was like, I don't know. Isn't that so sad? I hope he's okay. She's like, I haven't seen him in a long time. You know, it's hard. When I got sober, when Tanya and I got sober around the same time, you know, but I didn't know her till a couple of years in. But, I mean, we know a lot of the same people now. You know, these men and women that... It's weird, kind of, because I think about it, like, when people come in today that are younger, you know, and stuff, like in their early 20s. It's like, when I got sober, there were, like, men and women that were, like, 40... maybe older than that, and had like 20 years sober, you know? And I'd be like, oh my God, how did they get all this clean time? And, you know, maybe they had to have been older than that. I'm thinking about this one guy. He is like, well, my sponsor too, but my sponsor is, I think my old sponsor, not my sponsor now. My old sponsor is like 68 or 69. And he has like 30 some years, I think. 30, I think he has like 39 or 40 years. Anyway, and then I honestly cannot remember how many years he's been sober. But there's this guy that I know, and like he was one of the people that started the home group that I go to, and he has like 42 years, and I know that he's like, he just turned like 81. And so, like when I got sober, you know, he had like as many years as I have. And now I look at him and it's like crazy to me, you know, that like, I don't know, it's just weird. And I've known so many people that have passed on in the last couple years that, you know, were people that, like, I've known them for 20 years. I mean, they are like, they're what I know of sobriety. You know, it's not about the place that you go to or, you know, what night it's on. It's the people, you know, and then when the people start, it's just weird to me, you know, it's like, even my history and recovery is kind of like gone because these people are passing away. It's so sad, you know? I mean, it's sad that they're going, but it's like, you know, they had good lives. I was just sitting here going through my head, like, of all the people that I've known that have passed away sober, you know, and had, like, phenomenal lives as a result of it. Kids born that never even knew that they had ever drank or used, you know, and marriages had in sobriety, marriages fixed in sobriety, family relationships, you know, healed, careers that started that had never, you know, like, I have a friend of mine that, like, got sober young, like I did, and, you know, it's like really high into the judicial system and, like, all this kind of stuff, you know, and, like, went to undergrad, went to law school, all that kind of stuff, you know, it's crazy. It's like, she doesn't live anywhere near here, but, it's crazy, you know, when you look at all, like, literally lives changed from sobriety, you know. And then I remember that paragraph. Sometimes whenever I say this paragraph, I always get, like, real weepy. But in the basic text, there's a saying at the end of the last page of, like, the basic text part on page 164, and it says, talks about trudging the road of happy destiny, and surely some of you will join us along the way. And I always think about that, you know, see, like, that's where I get emotional, because I can remember reading that, you know, and I wanted that, like, I wanted that road of happy destiny, because I was not happy. And I think we fool ourselves into thinking that we're happy, you know? And that's just not the case. I just feel so blessed for the life that I have today with sobriety. And it's crazy, like I can see myself like sitting there in the cafeteria of the treatment program, like reading that, you know, and it just like hit me so hard. And I think like had you showed me my life today and what I have, from my husband to, you know, my house, to my dogs, to, you know, just the life that I have, my friends that I have, and my family, and just being able to travel, and, you know, I have amazing life, you know, and I think if you showed me that back then, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have bet everything against the fact that that was the case. I just wouldn't have believed it. You guys always get me real weepy on these vlogs. It's all your fault. Alright, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now. I have no idea how long this vlog is. I was trying to figure it out. What did I say? 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how long it is when I get home. Anyway, maybe I'll call it something like a super short vlog. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And have an amazing day unless you have other plans. Did you guys take a risk today? Or not a risk. Did you guys go out and do something? Did you take a risk? But did you go out and do something to really treat yourself? My plan had been to go to Dollar General or Dollar Store today, but I didn't make it out there. So anyway, I'm going to get off here now. I love you guys, and I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye.